Lord Hamilton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk about, but I think the most significant thing that has happened recently, by the way, when Ambassador Cynthia went on about this argument we had over dinner about realpolitik, I was the realpolitik man, so just in case you have any doubts about where I come from, that's where I do. We've just seen this agreement with Iran over nuclear weapons. But of course, whether that agreement goes through is not guaranteed, but I'm told by my American friends that Congress is likely to pass it. Whether it is actually enacted precisely is another issue, whether it goes through as planned, we'll have to see. But let's suppose that both those things happen. That then the relationship between the West generally and Iran changes. We already have an alliance of Iran supporting the Shia militia in Iraq. And then we look at Syria. So are we going to be supporting Iran and the Shia militia in Iraq against Daesh, but we're not going to be supporting Hezbollah against Muslim extremists in Syria? Sounds somewhat illogical to me to support one and not the other. So I think we're moving into a question where the dynamic is all now changing, and we might well see that this alliance with Iran actually grows, starting with the agreement to dismember the nuclear capability, but moving into other areas as well, where there's a view of the West, and this is where realpolitik comes in. We do not want to see an extremist Muslim state created in Iraq and Syria, which will then threaten our citizens in Western Europe. And therefore, we are very interested in the people who are prepared to fight them. And it seems that the Shia militia are prepared to fight them with a lot more enthusiasm than the Iraqi army, and in which case it seems to me to be infinitely sensible to support those people who are prepared to fight your enemies, who are threatening your future. And therefore, it seems to me that this relationship with Iran might well develop as we go along, and that may change the whole outcome of what happens in both Syria and Iraq.
Thank you. Well, powerfully said. Your enemy's enemy is your friend.
Correct.
Lord Hamilton, thank you. Straight to, we'll take 3 or 4 questions, and then we'll come back to the panel. We'll take the questions all in one lot, because this is going to be a lightning panel. So, gentlemen, who's going to... Well, Potkin at the back, then... well, you, sir, because you haven't asked your question. Yes.
Lord Hamilton, I'm often in agreement with you.
No, do everybody introduce themselves?
Sorry, I thought you introduced me.
I know who you are, but there you go.
Potkin Azarmehr. I work with the media and contributor to Iran-related news, etc. Lord Hamilton, I often agree with you, but on this occasion, I beg to challenge you. Not so much because I disagree with you on the question of realpolitik, but I just want to sort of update you with some facts. One day after the joint statements between Iran and the 5+1, at the Friday prayer, the faithful were asked to chant death to the US. So I don't think any change of behaviour is part of this, whether we're going to see an agreement or not. There's only one thing that Iran wants out of these negotiations, and it's not negotiating about anything else. It's not negotiating about its behaviour, and that is to have the sanctions lifted, to give itself a lifeline. It has no interest in becoming your allies, or it's no interest in becoming your friends. And with regards to the Shia militia, I don't know if you're aware, but the Iran alliance with the Shia militia in taking over Tikrit was a disaster. Here was a force of 30,000 that couldn't take on 1,000 in Tikrit. And at the end, they had to back away, with the Iraqi government asking the Americans to do the bombing and so that they could free Tikrit. So I think on those factual things, I disagree with you, if I may.
Okay.